The following program may contain language of an adult nature. Listener discretion is advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters! I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, y'all? And welcome to another edition of the Dontaesboxingnation show. I am your host, Dante, and we have another terrific show for you guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. Matter of fact, let's try to bring it down a little bit. Okay. You got a little echo, too. All right, guys, so let me go ahead and introduce my guest. On the phone with me, my man, Boxing Eagle. What's up, man?
Hey, what's good?
All right, and we just got my boy to call in right now. E-King Fight News. What's going on, E-King?
Yo, what up, Dante?
Thanks for calling in. Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Hey, no problem.
It's always...
Yeah, man. Yeah, anytime, man. Thank you.
Hold on 1 second. Let me talk to my producer.
Yeah, we got one of the guys in there. You guys got to turn your computer sound down. In the background, we're picking up.
Okay, yeah, we're getting a real loud echo from somebody's phone right now. Hello? There we go. There we go. Oh, man, I was talking to myself, having a full conversation.
Man, I thought I was at the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, oh, you heard it too, huh? It's still going on, guys. Just letting you guys know. It's still, and it's nothing on our part, right, George? Okay. All right, so, yeah, just try to keep that down. The echo is still going on, but anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. All right, guys, we got a lot of boxing to talk about. Let's start with Robert the Ghost Guerrero. But first of all, let me just give you a summary. We'll probably talk about other stuff as we go on, but we're going to talk about Robert Guerrero versus Aaron Martinez, how that played out, Miguel Cotto versus Daniel Gill, talk about Cotto versus Canelo, Nicholas Walters versus Marriaga this weekend, and your boy, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder against Molina this weekend. Those should be some good fights. Oscar De La Hoya is talking about coming out of retirement to fight against Triple G. And, of course, one of the biggest fights, probably the second biggest fights of the year, is Broner Porter, June 20th. So let's go ahead and start with Robert the Ghost Guerrero, man. Man, this man, I swear to God, man, I thought Robert Guerrero was in there with a shark that only had 4 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he survived the shark attack, Boxing Ego. How does he get beat up on like that by a guy with only 4 knockouts? And I mean, and what does this say about Robert Ghost Guerrero? Is he done? Is this effects from the Keith Thurman fight? I mean, is it just the wear and tear? What is it, Boxing Ego?
Man, first of all, it was a good fight. Shout out to both for producing. I really think I actually praise Robert Guerrero for coming back. He just fought in March against Keith Thurman. He pretty much got dominated and took some punishment in that fight. And I was on social media, I was giving him praise for coming back so soon. But then after seeing the fight, I'm like, oh, maybe he came back too soon. He did take a lot of punishment in that Keith Thurman fight, got knocked down. I had him pretty much losing mostly all the rounds, except for maybe the round after he got knocked down by Keith Thurman. He did have a pretty good rally. He didn't win, more than 2 rounds on my scorecard from what I remember. And I think he just bounced back very soon. In addition to that, maybe didn't let his body heal properly. And I think a lot of these, this is a year of upsets. Like, these underdogs are not playing. We've seen it with Amir Khan, and the very next week we've seen it with Robert Guerrero. Amir Khan was in there with Chris Algieri. Everyone's like, oh, it's a walk in the park. He's coming up in weight, no punching power off a loss, and he rocked Khan in the first round. Same thing with the Guerrero fight. Martinez has 4 knockouts. He got stopped by Josito Lopez. People who consider Guerrero a name at welterweight. I did not expect to see him touch canvas, and especially how he did. Like Sergey Kovalev fought Blake Caparello, I think it was, and he touched canvas real quick, but it looked like more of a flash knockdown. This was not that. Guerrero genuinely looked exhausted. It looked like he was out on his feet against the ropes damn near.
Yeah.
So he has a long road back to the elite level. Maybe he should take some time off, go back to the drawing board. Maybe he just didn't come in shape and underestimated Aaron Martinez. Like, oh, Josecito stopped him. This is easy work. But these underdogs are coming to fight and coming to win. They're getting this premier boxing champ showcases and stuff like that, and they're not trying to waste the opportunity. So shout out to them. Aaron Martinez had a good game plan, stayed on top of him, smothered him, forced him to work, and looked good. And it did more for Aaron Martinez than it did for Guerrero's stock.
Much more. And, and it made it a more entertaining fight because I didn't really care about this fight. But when I seen that, I was like, oh, wow, this is a fight. This is entertaining, so I was surprised, man. And it's just, obviously, it's an accumulation of the damage that Robert Guerrero has dealt with. I mean, fans like me and you, Ego, we always fans talk about how they love to see, the tough guy fighting face first and getting hit and showing blood and guts and all that kind of stuff. But the crazy thing, though, is when what's his name, Robert Guerrero got hit and got beat up on and got knocked down, the fans, they weren't rooting for Guerrero anymore. They was rooting for Aaron Martinez, and at the end of the fight, it was a split decision win for Robert Ghost Guerrero. The fans were actually booing the decision. So that means certain fans claim they like to see all this blood and guts, but when a fighter does that kind of stuff, they jump off the bandwagon and still basically dish you, so it just goes to show you, the logic, their logic doesn't make any sense. Boxing.
Another thing that
go ahead.
I was going to say another thing to add on to that real quick is it also brings up a lot of hypocrisy. At the end of the day, skills pay the bills. And in Team Guerrero, I know when they fought Floyd Mayweather, they were like, oh, he ran, he's a runner, he's not a warrior, he doesn't want to go toe-to-toe. Like, we like it, toe-to-toe. And the thing is, you put a lot of pressure on your fighter when you say that, because eventually you're going to meet someone who's better conditioned, bigger, stronger, badder than you are, and you have to box more. Like Robert Guerrero had to make that adjustment and box more. He even said it in the interview. Now it's like you just went against the grain of what you've been advocating, which is bang, toe-to-toe, nonstop. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes a little bit hypocritical when you condemn boxers and then someone pushes you to the brink and then you have to start boxing more. Now you know what I'm saying? Now you just became what Floyd Mayweather was to you, a boxer in there with someone who's maybe more aggressive than him.
Now, E. King.
I got to chime in on that, man.
Yeah,
I got to chime in on that because you know what? Robert Guerrero, he before he fought Andre Berto, he was more of a boxer puncher style. I remember when he was fighting Michael Catsias back in the day, he was doing more boxing than brawling. He was fighting that distance with a jab, and he was looking good in the ring. Like that was back when Guerrero was really a threat at like 135, 140, and he was one of the top dogs in that division. And as soon as he moved up, he just started getting the attitude that he could trade with anybody, and that's what happened against. He fought that dude before Berto. I forget his name. Shit, man, I forget that guy's name.
All of them.
But he fought
Kamagai, Berto.
He fought Kamagai, but he fought some other dude, man. Before Berto.
Before Berto.
Yeah, Iden. Yeah, that's Iden. Yeah, and that was a total war too. So he's been taking punches ever since he got to the welterweight division, and I don't know. He just got so into this machismo type warrior attitude that he really fucked his own game up doing that shit. And he thought he was gonna do a war with this guy and be an easy fight. Shit, he took a 12 rounds and he barely won. A split decision.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. No doubt about it. And I mean, Robert Guerrero, even though he used to box, he's always been slow on his feet though. And I noticed that even when he tries to move around and box, because he tried to box a little bit. His dad wanted him to box when he fought against Guerrero, but I'm sorry, when he fought against Keith Thurman, but he still didn't move that much because he doesn't really have the footwork. But I'm telling you right now, what I just seen, that's definitely the beginning of the end for Guerrero. When I say the beginning of the end, I mean I see him get knocked out. I see him get knocked out before his career is over, maybe a couple of times. He might end up like Soto Carras, getting stopped a couple times if his dad doesn't force him to retire. So, I'll start this one off with you, E. King. Let's go ahead and talk about Miguel Cotto versus Gill. We're getting a lot of mixed reactions to how the fight played out. For one, I was really impressed with Miguel Cotto's performance. I was surprised. He looked like a young, fresh Miguel Cotto. His reflexes, it reminded me of me watching him fight on ESPN when he was undefeated. The reflexes, the check hook is so quick. The combinations, moving out the way, the defense. I thought it was a great performance, but some people were saying that, since it was a catch weight, they're taking the credit away. E. King, they're basically saying that, it was a walking dead man in there. But I'm only looking at how Cotto looked, his reflexes. I was impressed. What about you, E. King?
Yeah, I pretty much agree 100%. Cotto looked, for what he did, even if that fight's at a catch weight, even if it's not at a catch weight, it's hard to see the fight going any different. And I think that's probably why people are more upset, is because I think we all knew Cotto wins that fight for sure, whatever weight it's at.
Yeah.
He's going at 160.
Yeah.
He's just pulling an 8-side advantage, something that Manny Pacquiao did to him back in the day, and now he's got the opportunity to do that now that he's middleweight champion of the world. Regarding the performance, it was excellent. It's good to see Miguel Cotto truly back in somewhat prime form. We saw a loss of confidence that really began after the Margarito loss that led into the Pacquiao fight back in the day, and then we saw it again against Austin Trout. And I think this version of Miguel Cotto with Freddie Roach is just clicking on all cylinders. That left hook is astounding. The power he has in that left hook, and Canelo got to watch out, man. I'm definitely looking forward to having that fight being official, and Golovkin got to wait in line. He's just gonna have to wait and keep knocking them out.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully he'll get the winner of that fight. But I was definitely also impressed by Miguel Cotto. He pretty much matched Golovkin's performance.
Oh, big time. And Canelo's performance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you compare them against Gill, yeah. And I'm just saying, since these guys are all in the same circle, if you look at Canelo versus Kirkland, you look at Golovkin versus Willie Monroe, I think Miguel Cotto, he had the more flawless performance, compared to all those guys. Because they all got knockouts, but Miguel Cotto didn't get touched. He didn't get touched. I mean, he looked like shit. He looked like Floyd Mayweather in there, with knocking with power. You know what I mean? He looked like Floyd Mayweather in there. It was a flawless performance. I didn't even really care about watching this fight, Boxing Ego, honestly. Matter of fact, I think it was it Ego to remind me the fight was coming on, or he reminded me about the other fight. But I forgot this fight was coming on, and I watched it on DVR. But when I watched it, I was like, wow, that is a good-looking Miguel Cotto. So I got to ask you, Boxing Eagle, I know we talked about it on the show. I've always told you I'm picking Miguel Cotto over Canelo. Tell me about, what do you think about his performance against Gill, and does this change your opinion at all when it comes to that Canelo-Cotto fight, Boxing Eagle?
No, I mean, it doesn't change my opinion. Now, this is the thing. I guess apparently I'm the Cotto hater. That's what people say. I think Cotto looked very sharp. Cotto looked very sharp in there. He did what he had to do, and he did it in impressive fashion. But me, I think the perspective is I never rated Daniel Gill that high. And then I think he did himself a disservice by having it at the catch weight, because I genuinely believe, like E. King just said, that no matter what weight, Cotto would have still beat Daniel Gill. Now, if he got him out of there in the 4th round, I don't know if that would have been the case. I would lean towards either a late stoppage, 6, 7, 8, maybe later, or a decision. I don't think he would have got him out of there quite as soon. Like, if you watch the HBO weigh-in highlights, Gill just looked very flat. He looked drained. He said after the fact he struggled, and I even made a video before the fight saying that, like, he didn't look there. Like, even if you look at the Triple G Gill weigh-in, he just looked fresher. He just got stopped last year, and he shouldn't really even be in a title shot. So, although Cotto looked good, I feel like it's not as impressive. because nobody really expected Gil to win. Plus, when you had the handicap of the catch weight, it just, I mean, it was to be expected. Just like I expected Canelo to beat Kirkland and Triple G. I'll give Triple G a ton of credit if he beats a guy like Carl Froch, who avenged his Kessler loss, has done a lot of good things since losing to Andre Ward. And the same thing with Cotto and Canelo. I want to see them fight each other because they both have strong momentum, and that's a great fight. But as far as Gil, I can't complain about his performance, but you have to take into consideration who he fought. Daniel Gil, I don't know, he's just not that dude to me.
You know, and it's funny, Boxing Eagle, you said we talking about catch weights because Gigi, there's talks that Golovkin, he actually wants the Froch fight at a catch weight. I hope that's yeah. I mean, I hope that's not the case. It's funny because Freddie Roach is completely unfiltered. He just said, after everyone was talking about the catch weight, he said he hates the person whoever invented catch weights. He hates that person or whatever. But I thought that was interesting for him to say that right after his fighter fights at a catch weight. That's one thing I gotta say I like about Freddie. Even if he's training a fighter, he'll still say something, that's on his mind, even if it's for better or worse when it comes to his fighter, So that's an interesting comment that he made. So let's go ahead and move on, guys. E. King, if you want to say anything on that, go ahead and jump in, man. But we'll go ahead and move on, and let's talk about the fights. Or did I get your prediction? I might as well get like a little light prediction when it comes to Canelo Cotto, E. King.
It's funny because this fight has been, I think, in the hardcore boxing world, we've been looking at this fight knowing it should have happened. We've been looking at these two fighters and we've been matching them together for quite a while. Even back before Canelo fought Floyd, we were thinking, man, the Cotto would be a big fight, and it was supposed to happen, right? If Cotto didn't lose to Trout, they were looking to make that match. Mm-hmm. So it's real interesting because back in the day, I truly believe Canelo was so green, and Cotto just had that experience advantage.
Yeah.
And then right after the loss to Trout, and then Canelo was kind of looking good. Even though he lost to Mayweather, he came back strong and shit. And it's a very close fight. Right now, I do give an edge to Miguel Cotto. I just think at range, on the outside, I think he's better at setting up his left hook. His angles look brilliant right now. And I'm not sure who the better inside fighter is. I think Canelo may be the better inside fighter. And I give Cotto the edge. I think he's got the better jab. Even though Canelo might have an advantage in reach, Cotto has the better jab. And I think he could have the better left hook as well, although it gets real tight because Canelo's got knockout power. So
I think Cotto...
That's such a tough fight. But I give a slight edge to Cotto.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a competitive fight, and I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo pulls it off. Canelo's a good fighter. He has the power. Yeah. He has a little bit of slickness to him, but overall, like what E. King, adding on to what E. King just said, well, I guess I'll disagree slightly and say I think Cotto is better on the inside. I mean, because he comes in with that high guard. He knows how to basically get real low. He'll get real low, and Canelo stands up high. So I see Cotto getting real low with the high guard, surprising him with check hooks and body punches. But at the same time, only edge I would probably give to Canelo, and I don't even know if it's an edge because they may have the same power. But I think Canelo might be stronger. He might be, or they probably have the same power. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I truly believe that outside of power, Cotto does everything better than Canelo. I truly believe that. And I think a lot of us are looking at the fact that, we've seen, Margarito pretty much, messed up Cotto with the bricks in his hands. And we don't know what was going on when Cotto fought against Pacquiao. I just leave it at that, So, that's some serious wear and tear on you, but He looks like, it looks like it's a rebirth of Miguel Cotto. It looks like it's a resurrection of him, with him now working with Freddie Roach. I think he's just inspired, just working with Freddie Roach, because he admitted Freddie Roach didn't change anything. When Max Kellerman asked him, it was like, what is it about, Freddie Roach? And he said, oh, he's a humble guy. And so he didn't really say that he's really changed anything. In fact, we heard Freddie Roach trying to change what Miguel Cotto was already doing in the early rounds in that fight, which Miguel Cotto was boxing. He was boxing beautifully, and it was Freddie Roach who was trying to get him to be more aggressive, which I didn't understand because I thought he was doing great just boxing. He was catching him with a lot of combinations. So, but I'm really looking forward to watching that fight. I truly believe, and I'm telling you guys right now, I could be wrong. It don't matter. But I believe Cotto is going to knock out Canelo. That's what I believe, man. Yeah, I know that's a big one. And just remember this too, guys. Hey, just remember this too, guys. Jose Cotto wasn't Miguel Cotto. That was his brother. And I mean, anybody could get caught with a punch and get hurt. But the way he caught Miguel Cotto, and then even if you watch the James Kirkland fight, like I said, once again, people forget about what happened before the knockout. That first round, James Kirkland, he was controlling Canelo at least the first minute, the first half of that round. He was bullying Canelo in the corner. So, like I said, man, it'll be a great fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo lands a shot, but I feel that's the only thing Canelo could do. And if Canelo does win this fight, I could see him being outboxed and out of nowhere catching, Cotto with something and knocking him out or hurting him bad. That's the only way I could really see Canelo winning this fight. I don't believe he can outbox Cotto, so anyway, that's what it is. We'll be talking more about that fight, as the months come, but anyway, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the fights that's coming up this weekend. Let's start with Nicholas Walters versus Miguel Marriaga. Now Boxing Ego, you already know this is a tough fight, man. This is a real tough fight for Nicholas Walters. He's fighting against a guy who's undefeated, beat him twice, in the amateurs. So and the guy has a high knockout ratio. And it's funny because as I'm talking about this, I keep thinking about Leo Santa Cruz because I had him on my notes over here. I just keep thinking about Leo Santa Cruz having the nerve to say that Mayweather should fight Keith Thurman, telling people who they should fight when he ain't fought nobody in his division. I mean, the nerve of this man. But anyway, I'm jumping off the subject, but it's kind of pertaining to this because Walters is fighting against real opponents. Leo Santa Cruz ain't never fought against no Marriaga or anyone on that level, So let's talk about the Marriaga fight. How dangerous of a fight is this, Boxing Ego? And how do you see this fight playing out? Knockout, decisions, upset, what?
Someone's definitely getting knocked out. I mean, it's just too much power in that square circle. I definitely see. I don't know exactly. I haven't really studied enough of Marriaga.
Me neither.
To know his little quirks and stuff. I just know they both have power, and it's a dangerous fight. So props to Nicholas Walters as champion. He's been on a pretty long layoff. Last time we seen him, and I think you went to this fight, so you might know the month it was. But last time we seen him was with Nonito Donaire, and that was last year. That was on the Triple G Rubio card, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I didn't go to that fight, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Summertime or something of last year.
That was a
and
while
we ain't
ago.
Seen him since.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been out for a while. And the other thing is Nicholas Walters, I've seen some pictures of him, not real recent, but a few months back, it looked like he gained a lot of weight.
Really?
So long layoff. Yeah. He looked pretty big.
Yeah.
But long layoff, you never know how that's going to be on your body and stuff. And then the other thing is, just like you said, he beat him in the amateurs. Sometimes people have that kind of mind control over you when they have that type of win. So I'm looking forward to a good fight. I just don't know enough about Marriaga to pick him as the winner. I think Walters can get it done from what I've seen and make the adjustments. And you got to think about the amateurs versus pros. Walters definitely has faced the better opposition. Guys like Nonito Donaire, Vic Darchinyan, they might have both been the favorites in that. I don't know about Darchinyan, but Donaire is probably the favorite versus Walters, and then he showed up both of those times. So he's definitely faced at least an elite fighter like Nonito that we know of, someone who's recognized in the sport. So better pro level experience. So I'm looking for an explosive fight.
Yeah, me too. Now, E King, same question. You obviously expect this to be a KO. I don't think any of us have seen any footage of Miguel Marriaga. I haven't. I'm gonna try to catch him on YouTube maybe tonight. But,
yeah, no, for real. I got to do my research on this dude. As far as I know, from what I can see, he's basically the number one guy out of Colombia. And those Colombians can punch. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And this has explosive fight written all over it. You know, this guy's on a 4 KO knockout streak against guys we don't really know. He's basically fought out of in South America. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, though. If we all remember back in the day, Miguel Cotto fought an unknown Colombian called Ricardo Torres, and that shit was a straight war.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
Both of those guys went down at least like once or twice. I know Cotto went down once, and then he ended up knocking him out in like 6 rounds, but that was a total war. Yeah. And this one could be the same. So definitely stay tuned for this. This has great fight written all over. You know, it's funny because, the real great fights are the ones that go fly under the radar completely. Now, it's never like one of the... It's rarely one of these highly anticipated fights that turns out to be a fight of your candidate. It's always these under the radar fights that it just catches you by surprise. This could be fight of the year.
Yeah.
Like Guerrero getting knocked down by Martinez. I didn't expect no fight like that.
Exactly. Well, hey, and he only had 4 knockouts. This man got 18 knockouts with 20 fights. He's 20-0 with 18 knockouts. So, man, you gotta, like I said, man, it's unfortunate that these fans they pick and choose who they fall in love with. I mean, I don't think I haven't seen Nicholas Walters' name on any Mexican flags yet. But when you think about the fact that this man is aggressive, he comes forward, he's knocking cats out. We seen in the Donaire fight he dealt with adversity where he got hurt and rocked, came back and still knocked out Donaire. And the man speaks Spanish from Jamaica, a Jamaican who speaks Spanish. You telling me y'all don't love that? Come on now. That don't make no damn sense right there. So, hopefully he get the credit. I mean, you knock out Donaire, you come back and you fighting the dude who beat you twice in the amateurs, you know what I mean? With a high knockout ratio who's undefeated. Y'all need to start giving, these fighters credit. So that's what it is, man. That's what it is. I can't wait to watch it. Like I said, let's do our homework and see what Miguel Marriaga is about on YouTube.
Yeah, maybe we could make some money on this shit, man. Yeah. Like Marriaga sounds like a live dog.
Yeah,
beat him twice in the amateurs.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean that's big, man. That's big. Yeah, and I hear that at the end of the year they're trying to make Nicholas Walters versus Lomachenko, which would be which would be a beast of a fight, man. Beast of a fight.
That's Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah. So now let's move on. Let's talk about the other fight, the other big fight this weekend. The heavyweight champion of the world, the WBC heavyweight champion, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder is back out there in Alabama. Gonna be fighting against Molina. Now Molina is a power puncher. I mean, he's not, obviously he's not Vladimir Klitschko or Tyson Fury, but he does have power. So is this just easy work, E King?
Yeah, man, it seemed like a stay busy kind of fight in the hometown. I give Molina 3 rounds, and he should be out of there.
Three rounds. Yeah, that's it.
I give him 3 rounds.
It seems like that type of fight. I mean, it's not a whole lot for us to really elaborate on this type of fight, right? I mean, this is supposed to be just a warm up, fight for, I guess, Wilder possibly fighting against either Povetkin or the winner of Klitschko and Tyson Fury. Do you guys have you guys heard anything on that? Is that fight close to being done yet? Klitschko versus Tyson Fury?
No, I heard they're just talking about it. I haven't heard anything concrete.
Yeah. So.
But I think, for me, I'm not counting nobody out. After the last 2 weekends where I've been surprised, I was like, Khan Algieri, that ain't, that ain't shit.
Yep.
Like, I didn't think that was going to be a good fight, and that turned out to be a war. Same thing with Guerrero Martinez. So I mean, at this point, I'm just gonna wait and see what I watch, because, like I said, I gave Algieri literally no type of shot. I mean, if you look at it, Khan was coming off of blowing Devin Alexander, a proven fighter with a solid resume. He blew him out of the water, and I consider Alexander a better boxer, a more accomplished, proven boxer. He beat guys like Maidana, and Chris Algieri gave Khan a better fight. Eric Molina, it does on paper, Collazo and Thurman, Molina and Wilder, all these fights, they sound pretty basic. Molina does have an 80% knockout ratio, so I'm anxious. Obviously, Deontay Wilder is the favorite, but like I said, I'm not counting nobody out after this until these underdogs start calm down, because they've been putting in work the last couple of weekends.
Until they calm down.
I'm like, dude 4 knockouts had Guerrero gassed.
Yeah.
Like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not counting none of these underdogs out.
Yeah.
They've been going hard.
That's a good ass point, man. And it's so funny. You're right, because a lot of times it's like that. We be like, oh, the fights that we expect to just be typical wins, for the favorite, all of a sudden it turns out to be a big ass surprise. So, and like when Wilder was fighting against Bermain, it was a lot of people thinking that Wilder, this was too big of a step for him. He wins that fight. And the next thing you know, it happens so many times. Well, yeah, the next time they fight, it's an upset against a guy they're supposed to beat easy. So, no, good point, man. And they're heavyweights, too. So,
I mean, and this is the thing, too, for me. It might be shocking what I'm about to say, but Matisse versus Provodnikov, I like the fight, but in all honesty, I expected a little bit more. I thought it was going to be like bow, bow, bow in your face. Somebody's hitting the canvas, and blood and guts. And it was actually mostly one-sided, and then towards the end it got a little bit close. But Matisse was just boxing smart, turning him. I mean, I can't knock him for his performance, but when I heard that on paper, I'm like, somebody's getting knocked out. I didn't even think it would go the distance type of fight. I thought it was going to be an all-out war, and I slept on Khan Algieri, and I slept on Aaron Martinez, and I'm not saying they're better fights, but they were completely the opposite of what I anticipated, so it became pleasure, because I just watched it for the sake of watching it, and it turned out to be a good fight versus Matisse Provodnikov. I liked the fight, but I expected more. I thought it was going to be more of a attrition, somebody getting their head knocked off. And really, John Molina versus Matisse, to me, was more of a fight of the year than Matisse Provodnikov.
Oh, of course. And once again, no one, of course, criticized Matisse when he didn't do what he was supposed to do, according to the fans, the casual fans. He didn't go in there, like Eagle just said, he didn't go in there banging. It wasn't Corrales Castillo. It wasn't Ward Gaddy. It was a boxer versus a puncher. He tied up Provodnikov whenever he needed to, which was a lot, and he boxed him. He boxed him, tied him up. He did whatever he had to do to basically tame the bull, right? So, and once again, it's nothing wrong with doing that. But we can't,
and you see how we give credit?
Exactly.
You see how we give credit?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I just admit it. I have no problem with Matisse doing. You secured the victory. You made an easier night for yourself, took minimal damage. Props to you. Mm-hmm. I have no problem admitting that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not everyone thinks like us.
No.
And if you fight the boring boxer style, then they hate you for it. Unless you're in a Timothy Bradley, Ruslan Provodnikov fight that you made harder than it had to be. You know what I mean? By having a dumb game plan. And then some people still don't give you credit. So it's like you can't win for losing with these fans.
Yeah, and it just complicates it for people like us, because we are the neutral type of people to where we give these people credit. So if we're all saying that Matisse versus Provodnikov was a great fight, right? And then I'm agreeing with even the casual fans, and then you turn around and say, this fighter over here that I don't like, who fought the same way Matisse fought, he's a bitch. He's gay. Look at him tying up. Only a bitch ties up fighters and all that. You guys are confusing us, because we're like, wait a minute, I thought we were supposed to be praising the great boxer, the great boxing exhibition that Matisse put together. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, the double standards.
The thing that's that's the most upsetting about that, what you just said, is the fact that these fans are so quick to jump off your bandwagon Even when you do what they said they wanted. You said, I want an all-action fight. Robert Guerrero, I was reading the comments. They're like, oh, he was a gatekeeper. He's a bum. His career's over. He needs to fire his dad. And they're bad-talking Guerrero based on his performance. But for 3 to 4 fights back-to-back, he's giving you the type of wars you said you wanted, and then you turn your back on him when he has a tough time. Same thing with Mike Alvarado. He gave us the Bradis Prescott, the Rios 1 and 2, and the Provodnikov fight. And then when he looks suspect in the Alvarado 3, you turn your back on him. So that's the cold part about boxing. They claim they want you to fight the dumb fight, and then when you do fight the dumb fight and finally get exposed for it, or all this years of punishment catches up to you, then all of a sudden they say you're weak and you're a bum and you suck. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I agree with people. Fight Matisse, Mayweather, fight whatever fight's going to get you that W. Fuck the people.
Yeah, of course. And look how quick, like I said, though, boxing nigga, look how quick they throw you under the bus. I mean, Brandon Rios, it was only a minute ago that Brandon Rios was treating him like he was Golovkin when he was undefeated, right? Soon as he started showing vulnerabilities when he fought against was it Richard Abreu, and then he ends up losing. Now people, they don't care anything about him. So, that just goes to say what Boxing Eagle said. It makes complete sense. They throw you under the bus soon as you lose. But at the same time, that's why they want Golovkin to keep winning so bad. They want him to win so bad because as soon as he loses, his stock goes down. And a lot of people, they jump off the wagon. Like, people have been making fun of how Manny Pacquiao loses, and all those fans, they jump from Manny Pacquiao to Golovkin, So that's pretty much that's pretty much what we
Dante,
see.
If you notice, boxing has the double standards that only occur in boxing. Can you imagine if your subscribers left comments saying, hey, Dante, on your station, we want you to do this. Make videos about Mike Tyson. And then you start making a bunch of Mike Tyson videos because you're getting a lot of requests for him. And then you make the video, and then they're like, oh, you're a bitch. Why you keep talking about Tyson? Like, what? This is what you said you wanted.
Exactly.
But in boxing, it doesn't matter. They say they want X, Y, and Z, and then when you give them that, then that's still not good enough. So I think all fighters need to fight their fight. Whatever is going to get you to win, use your strength and your skill set. If you're a puncher, then punch away. If you're a skilled, slick fighter, then do that. So do whatever.
It's crazy, too, because, if you look at a fighter like Floyd Mayweather, and say he fought with Pacquiao, and he still edged a decision. You think they would give him credit for having a great fight with Pacquiao winning a decision? No. They still wouldn't give credit. They said Pacquiao won. Fucking Floyd Mayweather nearly pitches a shutout against Pacquiao, and there's still fucking, like, a good set of people that think Pacquiao won that shit.
You got to watch it in slow-mo.
You got to watch
it in slow-mo.
Upside down. You got to watch it
in
slow-mo
you know what's
upside down.
fucked up about that? I got to say, you know what's fucked up about that? How many people took the time to watch fucking Tim Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao with the sound off?
Yeah.
Or how many people just took the time to take a little closer look at that fight to see, hey, did Tim Bradley really win this shit? Yeah. How many fucking casual-ass fans did that? Nah, they just roll with Jim Lampley. They just roll with Jim like that. That's how it is, huh?
And just
it makes me sick sometimes,
Oh, I mean, with Mayweather and Pacquiao, I was getting alerts from boxing. I'm not going to call nobody out, but I have alerts set up for certain boxing things, and I'll get notifications. They're like, "Oh, this is a good fight. I have it tied up going into the 6th round, and this and that, right?" And then after the Mayweather pulls away in the second half of the fight, all of a sudden, it's a boring fight. It was a shit fest. You wasted my $100. But going
for me, that was an exciting fight. For me, I was thoroughly entertained with that fight.
Yeah, after the 4th round, when Pacquiao had this flurry and caught Mayweather with the straight left, everyone was on the edge of their seat, and it was tied up and stuff. And then when Mayweather pulls away, all of a sudden it goes back to being it was a bad fight. But if Pacquiao would have knocked him out in the 12th, then it would have been a great fight. We already know.
And we got 1 minute left, and I'll just say this. It's so funny when you look at the similarities, the Bradley situation versus the Pacquiao-Mayweather situation.
In the first fight.
Yeah, in the first fight. The first Bradley versus Pacquiao. The first Bradley fight, we seen Bradley get injured. We seen the injury, with our own eyes. It wasn't him, making up stuff and whatever, right? We seen it. We seen him fight differently. At the end of the fight, he wins the fight, right? Max Kellerman, he says, well, we thought that Manny Pacquiao won the fight. The fans, they love when he said that. And that's the reason why we got the controversy, because they heard Max Kellerman say that. If Max never said that, it would not have been such a big controversy, number one, okay? And now, but when Manny Pacquiao, tells Max Kellerman, I thought I won the fight, Max says, no, we thought we thought Mayweather won the fight easy. Now they not listening to what Max had to say. When Bradley was injured, they didn't care that he was injured. They didn't even look at it. When we seen slow-mos of Bradley beating Pacquiao, landing clean shots, they didn't care about it. I'm out of time, guys. We will see you guys next week. Shouts out to E King Fight News, Boxing Ego. That's how we do it. It's the nation, baby.